What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning back in to another video. We have finally made it through the off season. We're just a few days away from the opening day out at Firebird Raceway here in Idaho. Hey, you're ruining my videos. Quit eating stuff. It's currently like sunny and mid 70s. I don't think it's supposed to be quite that this weekend, but we'll be, doesn't look like rain, but we'll at least be in the 60s. And we're getting the last minute things done to the Nova. I got new plugs put in the car. I ran the valves. It's a hydraulic roller on the Nova, so they don't need adjustment hardly at all ever, but still like to check them quite often. Oh, and I did do an update with the fuel system. I haven't had a chance to show you guys yet, but I did put a new fuel pump on the car. This is what I had on there previously. It was the Holley Black. It was 140 gallon per hour, I believe, fuel pump with this return style regulator, and it worked great. I never had any problems with it, especially racing at high altitude up here in like Boise, northern Nevada, and those places. But when we went down to Seattle last year, that was a different story. At Good Air, going through the data logs and stuff like that, I noticed that the fuel pressure was dropping quite a bit, so I knew I was at the limits of that pump. Should be taken care of now. Shouldn't have that issue anymore. Let me hop under here. Upgraded to a MagnaFuel Pro Star. This is their 300 fuel pump. This thing will supply all the E85 that this combination will ever need. So I didn't get to fill much because it actually was nearly a direct replacement. I made a little custom bracket so it would mount in the same location as the Holley fuel pump was in. And then I like how the return on this pump is actually right back here at the fuel pump. Makes for a really clean install. Just goes right up through the floor there, and I was able to get rid of the whole dash 6 return line that I had before with the old style fuel pressure regulator. I went ahead and got a MagnaFuel fuel pressure regulator up here as well because those ProStar pumps are designed to run with a deadhead style regulator like this, since the return's built into the pump back there. So yeah, and all I had to do really was get a 90-degree fitting at the bottom there, and I was able to get the same dash 10 feed line running into it and the same dash 10 out that I had with the old fuel pressure regulator, and it again got rid of the whole dash 6 or dash 8, whatever size it was, the whole return line that went the length of the car last time. So and then I just plugged off this side of the fuel pressure regulator. So that's the update on the fuel system. I didn't have enough footage to make a full video of the install. It's rare that this happens, and anybody who's ever built a car knows it's rare, but it actually went very smooth, and I didn't have enough footage to make a whole video, so I just thought I would update you here in this video of what the new fuel system looks like. So this thing's ready to test. If you followed along this off season, the big project is we put an anti-roll bar in the rear end, so I'm excited to go test that and get that all set up. I need to pull it outside to wash it. I'm gonna load the fuel cans up and go get fuel here in just a minute. But other than that, this thing is ready to roll. All right, I got the cans loaded up in the truck. We're gonna go get some fuel. I'm also gonna grab my ethanol content tester. The fuel station I go to in Nampa, Conrad, and Bischoff has never been below 85% since I've been going there, even in the winter, but I always check a few times a year, so I'm just gonna take this with me and test it while I'm there. Put a little splash in here. Not even enough to charge it. And then I got the test tube filled to that line with water. You fill the rest of it up with the 85, shake it up, and then we'll let it sit. And this E85 will separate from the water, and we'll be able to see what content's in it. Let's see if I can do it without spilling everywhere. Shake it up and then we'll let it sit. All right, it's been sitting for a minute. I did fill it a little bit more than I was supposed to, but even if I didn't fill it up as much as I did, that'd still be above the 85% mark. So we should be good to go. Gonna fill them all up. Testing this anti-roll bar, make sure the car goes straight, and we'll get back to the trailer after this pass and just check over the welds, make sure there's no cracks, everything's holding up fine. So as you can probably tell by my red nose, it is super cold out here today. I don't think it's probably even above 45 right now. I actually didn't check the weather before I came down here, but we have a tailwind and it's chilly, so we may go a little fast here. First pass wasn't the best looking pass. It definitely, as you saw, hopped off the line. So I'm going to try to go up a little bit in tire pressure. And then I'm just going to go back to neutral on the anti-roll bar. I had about a quarter turn of preload in the passenger side. So just going to go set it neutral. It's what a couple of people said to try. Then I also slowed the front shocks down a little bit too. So that'll be the changes that we make. And then we'll go back up here in a minute and see if it will go straight this time. Guys, we're home and unloaded. Not ideal. That second pass was better. Jade had to leave, so I didn't have anybody to film the outside view, but I think taking the quarter turn of preload out of the passenger side of the anti-roll bar helped the car not want to steer left all the way down the track. I think it took that rear steer feeling out. But pulling the data log off of the FuelTech, I could tell that the car hopped, and I could feel it in the car too, that it just didn't leave smooth. It didn't do, didn't have that weight transfer and roll out. It wants to bunny hop and then go. The data log on the FuelTech is confirming everything as well. So on the graph here, the top line is RPM, engine RPM, and then the bottom line here is wheel speed, or the drive shaft speed sensor. And so where the RPM line is flat here, that's 4,000 RPM, that's on the trans brake. And then as I let go of the trans brake here, the car launches. You can see on the bottom, wheel speed sensor starting to go up. And basically what it does is it shoots up to 1,300 RPM when it does that hop, and then comes back down to about 850 RPM before it starts to climb nice and smooth. So this spike here, that spike right there, is what we're trying to get rid of. I'm already chatting with a few people that are familiar with ladder bar setups, and their cars work really well. I'm already chatting with a few people to help get this thing set up, and I'm already learning a lot. My buddy Will actually pointed this out to me at the track yesterday. The compound, or the slick that I have, this Hoosier slick, is actually the softest sidewall that you can get from Hoosier, which is tailored towards not so good prep or maybe no prep surfaces. And obviously I bracket race the most, so I'm always on prepped surfaces. So that's maybe not the ideal tire to run on a prepped surface. So that's not helping with crushing the tire. I've been running about 10.5 to 11 PSI of air pressure in the rear since I've had the car. So I may look at bumping that up to 12, 13 and start there. I'm also going to be looking at the bar angle on the ladder bar in the rear this week. A few people think that maybe I have the rear end too stiff, that I'm not letting it separate enough. And then I've always ran the compression pretty high in the rear. So the rear end's always been really stiff. So I think all of the suspension, all of the travel's been in the tire. So we're gonna look at that this week. So once we get that kind of set up and know where it's at, and maybe some new shock settings in the rear, I think something else that I'm going to do as well is I'm going to lower the launch RPM. I don't think that, not that 4,000 RPM off of the trans brake is crazy by any means, but this is a turbo 400 with 400 gears and a supercharger. The cam profile makes torque down low. So I may not need to leave at 4,000 RPM. I may be able to get by with 35, 3,700 and not hit the tire as hard. And even though I'm not leaving at a, as high of an RPM, if I can get this spike to smooth out and make this a smooth curve, even leaving at a lower RPM, if that's smooth, I think that the 60 foots may even pick up or stay the same and just be totally smooth and not have that spike there, which will make things very, very consistent. And that's what we're looking for. So those are some of the changes that we're going to look at making this week. There is another test and tune next Saturday, which we plan on going to. And if any of you guys watching this are familiar with ladder bars, slick tire setups, feel free to drop a comment. I'd love to connect with you. Kind of just taking in all the information I can right now to figure out how to move forward and get the car working how it's supposed to. Until next weekend, guys, I really appreciate you guys watching, liking, subscribing, following along. I'm glad the off season is over and we're back to making content here pretty regularly. And thank you to everybody who has reached out so far to help. And maybe if you leave a comment, thank you in advance for willing to help me out, get this thing leaving consistent. Hope you guys have a great week. I'll keep you posted on the changes that we make, and we'll be back to the track next weekend. We'll see you then.